You just posted something you're proud of. A win, a milestone, something real. You check back in an hour, 4 likes, 1 comment from your mom. Meanwhile, some guy you barely know just posted a gym selfie and got 140 likes in 12 minutes. And suddenly, your win feels small, like it doesn't count. Like you don't count unless the algorithm says so. That feeling you're sitting with right now? It's not because life is unfair. It's not because people suck. It's because you're playing by rules that were designed to make you weak. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to change that. Here's what we're doing today. I'm going to walk you through the Stoic framework for controlling your attention, so your mind stops running your life and you start running it. This isn't philosophy for the sake of sounding smart. This is an operating system, a way to process reality that makes you harder to break, harder to control, and harder to shake. Because here's the truth, most men right now are getting weaker, not physically, mentally. They're reactive. They need validation, attention, and certainty just to feel okay. They hand their peace to outcomes they can't control and then wonder why they feel powerless. The world is eating them alive. You don't have to be one of them. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to respond the next time someone disrespects your time, dismisses your work, or pulls your frame out from under you. Not in theory, in practice. But first, we need to talk about the mistake almost everyone makes. Here's the mistake most guys make when life goes sideways. You think the problem is external. Someone disrespects you, so you try to earn their respect back. You explain, you defend, you prove, and the more you do it, the cheaper you look. Or you think the solution is to stop caring, so you fake detachment, you ghost back, you play it cool. But internally, you're still spinning at 2 a.m., replaying the conversation. Both are losing moves. And here's why. Both are attempts to control something that was never yours to control. The Stoics saw through this 2,000 years ago. They had a principle, maybe the most important idea they ever put into words: the dichotomy of control. Plain English, some things are up to you. Everything else is not. Your actions, your effort, your judgment, your character, those are yours. Outcomes, other people's opinions, timing, luck, not yours. The moment you try to control what you can't, you lose your peace. And the moment you lose your peace, you lose your power. Here's the part that hits harder the more you think about it. Your suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from the story you tell yourself about what happens to you. The disrespect isn't the problem. The judgment you attach to it. This means I'm not valued. This means I'm losing. This means I don't matter. That's what creates the pain. Events are neutral. Interpretation is everything. Now consider this. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the Roman Empire. He commanded armies. He had absolute authority over millions of lives. And every single night he sat down and wrote to himself, "You don't control what other people think. You don't control outcomes. You control your response." That's it. Epictetus was a slave. He had nothing. No power, no freedom, no legal rights over his own body. Same truth. 2 men, opposite lives, same operating system. So here's the question you need to sit with. Are you handing your peace to things that aren't up to you? Are you giving your attention to people and outcomes you cannot control? And then wondering why you feel like you're losing? Because that's the trap. And it's everywhere. Let me show you what breaking out of it actually looks like. 4 lessons, 4 real scenarios. Each one comes with a Stoic move you can use today. First principle, restraint is not weakness. It's precision. You're in a meeting. You've been working on a project for 2 months. You present. Your co-worker, the guy who contributed almost nothing, interrupts. He redirects the conversation. He subtly takes credit. And your boss doesn't notice. Or worse, he does notice, and he doesn't care. Most guys do one of 2 things. They explode. They call it out. Get defensive. explain how much they did, and now they look emotional, like they need the credit to feel okay, or they stay silent and seethe. They go home, replay it for 3 hours, lose sleep, lose respect for themselves. Both are reactions, not responses. Here's what a Stoic does. Step 1. In the moment, he doesn't move. He lets the coworker finish. No defensiveness, no eye roll. He stays solid. Step 2. After the meeting, he documents his work. Sends a brief factual email summarizing his contributions. No emotion, just record. He copies the relevant people. Step 3. He lets the outcome go. If his boss values him, it shows over time. If he doesn't, now he has data and he can plan accordingly. Why does this work? Because he didn't lose his composure. He didn't hand his power to someone else's behavior. He stayed in control of the only thing he can control. And here's the paradox. That restraint makes him look stronger, not weaker. People respect the man who doesn't need to prove himself in the room. Silence isn't weakness, it's precision. Second principle, you can want her interest. You cannot need it. You've been seeing someone. A few weeks in, things feel good, then she cancels. Last minute, something came up, no reschedule offered. You text back, no worries. But you're spinning. Is she losing interest? Did I do something wrong? Should I ask? Should I give her space? 2 days later, you see her story. She's out with friends, smiling, clearly not busy. Now you're not just disappointed, you feel disrespected. Most guys make one of 2 mistakes. They send the paragraph, "Hey, I noticed you cancelled, but you were clearly free. I value honesty, and I feel like..." And now they've handed her all the power. They've shown they're affected. They've shown they need the clarity to feel okay, or they ghost back. They play games. They try to make her chase. But internally, they're still thinking about her every hour. That's not detachment. That's performance. And it's exhausting. Here's what a Stoic does. Step 1. He doesn't send the paragraph. He moves on with his day. Not as a tactic, as a genuine choice. Step 2. He applies the dichotomy of control. He can't control whether she's interested, whether she's playing games, whether she respects his time. He can control his standards. Step 3. He reads behavior, not words. She cancelled without rescheduling. That's data. If it happens again, that's a pattern. He doesn't argue about it. He doesn't punish her for it. He adjusts his investment accordingly. Why does this work? Because Stoicism isn't about not caring. It's about caring without needing. You can want her, but you don't need her to feel solid. Your frame stays intact whether she's in or out. And that's what makes you attractive. Not the games, not the paragraphs. The fact that you're unmoved. Third principle, discipline isn't something you summon. It's something you build. Week 1 of a new goal. Perfect. You're motivated. You feel unstoppable. Week 2, you miss a day. No big deal. You'll make it up. Week 3, 2 days gone. Now you're negotiating. 4 days is still solid. Week 4, 0. And now you're telling yourself the story. I'm lazy. I don't have what it takes. Maybe this isn't for me. Wrong. The problem isn't your character. The problem is your system depends on motivation. And motivation is an emotion. Emotions are unreliable by design. The Stoics didn't wait to feel ready. They treated discipline like a skill, something you practice, not something you summon. They understood that the man who shows up consistently when he doesn't feel like it is more powerful than the man who performs brilliantly when the conditions are perfect. Here's the move. Step 1. Lower the bar until it's embarrassing. Don't commit to 5 days. Commit to one thing. 10 push-ups, 5 minutes, something so small you can't fail. Step 2. Do it before noon, every day. Make it non-negotiable. Not because it's hard, but because it's non-negotiable. Step 3. Track it. Whiteboard, notebook, phone. 1 check mark per day. That's your proof. Why does this work? Because discipline isn't built in one heroic decision. It's built in 100 small, boring ones. Every time you show up on the day you don't feel like it, you're training something more important than muscle. You're building self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of everything else on this list. Fourth principle: other people's narratives about you are not verdicts. Family dinner: you're doing well, or you're working toward it. Either way, you're moving. Then someone at the table, a parent, a sibling, an uncle, brings up the old version of you, a failed job, a past relationship, a choice they never agreed with, in front of everyone. Remember when you tried that business thing and it fell apart? Or when are you going to get a real career going? Or the quiet version, the look, the comparison to someone else, the silence after you speak that says more than any sentence. Most guys do one of two things. They defend. They explain the whole situation, why it happened, what they learned, how it's different now, and every sentence they say is proof that the comment landed, that it affected them, that the other person has power over how they feel about themselves. Or they explode. They call it out. Old wounds open. The dinner becomes a battlefield. Here's the thing about both of those moves. They're treating your family's opinion of you as though it requires a response, as though their version of your story is somehow authoritative. It isn't. Here's the Stoic move. Step 1. You hear it. You don't react. You let it land without letting it stick. Step 2. You ask one internal question, not out loud. Is this accurate? If it's not, and you know your own record, then it's just noise. You don't argue with noise. Step 3. If it is accurate, if there's real feedback buried in there, you extract the signal and discard the delivery. You don't need them to say it kindly to benefit from it. Why does this work? Because the man who needs to win at the family table is still controlled by that table. The man who can sit in the discomfort, take what's useful, leave what isn't, and drive home without replaying it for 3 hours, that man is free. You don't have to convince them, you just have to know. All right, knowledge without practice is just content you consumed and forgot. This is the exercise that separates the guys who watch Stoic content from the guys who actually become harder to shake. I call it the control protocol. Total time, 15 to 20 minutes. Do it tonight, not this weekend. Tonight. Grab your phone, open a blank note. Write today's date at the top. Then write this question: what pulled me out of my frame today? Not what made me sad or what upset me. Frame. What moment today made you reactive, defensive, anxious, or small? Now write down 3 moments from today or this week where you lost your composure, even slightly, even internally. Write each one in 1 sentence. Facts only. No interpretation yet. Keep it clean. My coworker interrupted my presentation. She didn't text back. My dad made a comment at dinner. Just facts. For each one, split a line on the page into 2 columns. Column A, what actually happened? Just the objective facts. Column B, the story I added, your interpretation, your assumption, your judgment. Here's an example. Column A, my boss didn't acknowledge my work in the meeting. Column B, he doesn't value me. I'm invisible here. Nothing I do matters. See the gap? Column A is reality. Column B is the suffering you manufactured on top of it. You're not just reacting to events, you're reacting to your own narration of events. Now rewrite column B using the dichotomy of control. For each item, ask, is this in my control? If no, let it go. Actually, let it go. Not as a tactic, as a choice. If yes, identify the 1 action you can take, not 5. 1. Example, I can't control whether my boss acknowledges me. I can control whether I document my contributions and follow up. I'll send a summary email tomorrow morning. Now pick one of those 3 situations. Do the Stoic move you just identified, even if it feels late. even if it feels small. Do it before you sleep tonight. At the bottom of the note, write 2 things. 1. Stoic move completed, yes or no. 2. If yes, 1 word describing how you feel after following through. If no, 1 honest sentence about why and when you'll do it. That's the control protocol. 15 to 20 minutes. Do it consistently for 2 weeks and watch what happens to your baseline. When you're done, come back and drop 1 word in the comments. The Stoic principle you're working with this week, just 1 word. That's your proof. Let's bring this home. The disrespect doesn't disappear because you watch this. The cancelled plans still sting. The alarm still goes off at 6 in the morning when you don't want to move. Your family still has opinions. The algorithm still ignores your wins. This isn't about making life easier. It's about making you harder to break. The Stoics understood something most men today have been trained to forget. You are not your circumstances. You are your response to your circumstances. You don't control whether people respect you, but you control whether you need their respect to feel solid. You don't control whether she texts back, but you control whether you lose your frame when she doesn't. You don't control whether your boss sees your value, but you control whether you show up with character anyway. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire. He had everything, and every single morning he had to remind himself of the same thing you and I are working on right now. You don't control other people. You don't control outcomes. You control outcomes. You control yourself. If the Emperor of Rome needed the daily reminder, so do you, so do I. That's not weakness, that's the practice. Your peace is not for sale. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Do the exercise tonight. Drop your word in the comments, I want to see it. And next video, we're going into something that doesn't get talked about enough. Why being calm gets mistaken for being weak, and how Stoics turned that misread into a weapon. You're going to want to see that one. Subscribe if you're serious. New training drops every Wednesday. Stay solid.